been fully restored after power was returned to the city's main utility. Kyiv Vodokanal water pressure across all district is now back into normal following overnight Russian strikes that temporarily knocked several pumping stations offline. The attacks were part of a massive Russian barrage that left 3 people dead, nearly 30 injured, and more than 600,000 households without power across Ukraine. Kyiv officials described widespread damage after a night of intense explosions targeting the capital's energy grid. Ukraine's military reported intercepting 577 of 632 missiles and drones launched at Kyiv, one of the largest single-night assaults of the war. Meanwhile, President Zelensky has confirmed that a Ukrainian negotiating team is heading to the U.S. for peace talks led by Security Council Secretary Rustam Umerov, who replaces outgoing negotiator Andriy Yermak following his resignation. Now we move on. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that a team of Ukrainian negotiators are on their way to United Nations for discussing regarding Washington's plan to end the ongoing war. On a social media post, Zelensky has confirmed that Rustam Umerov, Secretary of the National Security and Defense Council of Ukraine and head of the Ukrainian delegation, is leading the team. The talks are expected to focus on potential diplomatic efforts to resolve the conflict. Now moving on, according to Turkey's transport ministry, 2 oil tankers in the Black Sea and the Virat and the Kairos were hit by explosions off of the coast of Turkey late Friday and again early Saturday. According to Ukraine's SBU security service, the vessels were intentionally targeted using modernized Sea Baby naval drones, claiming the ships were covertly transporting sanctioned Russian oil. The SBU provided video footage that it says shows the maritime drones approaching the tankers moments before the blasts. The strikes represent another escalation in Kyiv's campaign to disrupt Russia's logistics and energy revenues amid the ongoing conflict. Turkey has not publicly assigned the blame for the attacks, but confirmed both incidents occurred in its territorial waters. No casualties were reported, though the extent of the damage to the tankers has not yet fully been assessed. Now moving on, South African authorities have arrested 4 men at Johannesburg main airport who were allegedly en route to Russia to join its military. Police say the suspects were stopped at the boarding gate following a tip-off from airport officers. According to the Hawks, the country's elite investigative unit, the preliminary inquiry suggests the South African women had been facilitating the travel and recruitment of the men into the Russian military. The 4 suspects are expected to appear in court on December 1st for allegedly contravening the Regulation of Foreign Military Assistance Act, which prohibits South Africans from providing military support to foreign states without authorization. The arrests come weeks after reports that 17 South African men were stranded in Ukraine after being lured into joining mercenary forces with promises of lucrative contracts. President Cyril Ramaphosa has ordered an investigation into how these men were recruited. Moscow residents are reacting after Russia announced considering a nationwide ban on WhatsApp. Authorities accuse the popular messaging platform of failing to prevent crime and are urging citizens to switch to domestic alternatives such as Max, a service that does not offer end-to-end encryption. Some users say the move would be a major setback for residents and said that she actively uses WhatsApp and worries about losing years of messages. Others support the idea. He sees no problem with the shutdown, adding that foreign apps now pose a threat and Russia should rely on its own platforms. The proposal comes amid growing government pressure on Western tech companies operating inside of Russia. Let's in fact listen into the reactions of the Russians.
Я думаю, что ничего в этом критичного нет. Нашей нации свойственно подстраиваться под очень часто изменяющиеся обстоятельства. Поэтому адаптируемся, есть другие мессенджеры, есть куда перейти, и в принципе мы уже пользуемся тем же Телеграмом, мы включены в работу Макса, поэтому проблем не вижу.
WhatsApp активные, в основном WhatsApp, и это были и созвоны, и переписки, и личная история сообщений, которую не хочется терять, и тоже рабочие вот эти вот общения, то есть у меня там много клиентов, которых, в Телеграме почему-то не настолько как будто бы было удобно, в WhatsApp привычнее.
Я нормально отреагировал, потому что я не вижу большой проблемы, если его закроют. У нас есть свой мессенджер, Макс. И я понимаю, все, что создано там, за границей, сейчас для нас это угроза.
Ну, на самом деле ситуация неоднозначная. С одной стороны, понятно, что все-таки данная информация она сливается там, как бы в другие страны, возможно, будет использоваться против нас там, да. Но все-таки это определенное ограничение там своих свобод. Все-таки достаточно хорошо там было удобно.
Now moving on, residents of a Hong Kong housing complex are sharing painful memories after one of the city's deadliest fires burned for more than 40 hours. Many lost their homes and their possessions and decades of family history. One of the residents said she broke down as she realized everything was gone. 40 years of all memories, all gone. Many survivors say the blaze has left them with nothing but gratitude for those who helped them escape. Let's listen into what some of the residents have shared.
啱啱撞到個街坊，佢都話佢老婆同埋個仔同埋個孫都冇咗，係啊，咁佢好彩佢自己走咗落嚟先，上到去就唔見，即係已經落到嚟話火災快走啦，快走，佢已經係走唔到啦，後尾就再 call 佢已經揾唔到。佢話出到門口好大煙啊，爸爸好大煙啊咁跟住就失咗聯絡啦已經咁好似唔知琴日就揾到個屍體咯。
琴日個工人姐姐先至話俾我哋聽，原來佢賺到咁多錢嘅人工咧，係買咗黃金啊，擺喺我哋間屋嗰度。咁所以而家佢啲黃金咧，其實仲喺災場。但係咧，由於點咧，就可以係睇得出呢個姐姐嘅嗰個品德咯，即係佢嗰瞬間咧，佢唔係。
Now we move on to Middle East. 2 Palestinian children were killed in Gaza today on what relatives and medics say was an Israeli drone strike, despite a fragile ceasefire that has reduced but not halted violence in the enclave. Brothers Fadi and Goma Abu Asir, aged 10 and 12, were reportedly gathering firewood for their wheelchair-bound father east of Khan Yunis when they were hit by the Israeli drone. Their uncle claims that the boys had no missile or bombs and were simply helping their family. The Israeli military did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Gazan health officials say at least 354 Palestinians have been killed since the ceasefire took effect on October 10th, while Israel reports 3 soldiers were killed in the same period. Now moving on to Central Asia, Azerbaijan's police raid home of leading opposition figure amid a coup attempt probe. Police in Azerbaijan searched the home of Ali Karimli, leader of the opposition Azerbaijani Popular Front Party, as part of a widening investigation into a suspected coup attempt against President Ilham Aliyev. The search is connected to a criminal case involving Ramiz Mehdiyev, a former ally of the late president of Haidar Aliyev and ex-head of the presidential administration. 2 APFP members, Afaik Faki Amirli and Mahmoud Ibrahim, were also detained, according to Karimli's deputy Seymour Hazi. A government source stated that authorities suspect Karimli is being financed by Mehdiyev, who was dismissed from his role by Ilham Aliyev in 2019. Mehdiyev was placed under house arrest last month after facing charges related to an alleged attempt to seize power. Karimli, who has led the APFP since 2000, has been arrested several times for organizing protests against the government. Now moving on to Oceania, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has married his longtime partner, Jodie Hayden. becoming the first sitting Australian leader to wed while in office. The 62-year-old Prime Minister and the 46-year-old financial services professional held a private garden ceremony at the lodge in Canberra. Attended by close family and friends, Albanese shared his joy publicly, posting a video of the couple, him in a bow tie and Hayden in a long white gown, celebrating as confetti fell. This ceremony comes more than a year after Albanese proposed on Valentine's Day of 2024. The couple wrote their own vows and were married by a celebrant before walking back down the aisle to Stevie Wonder's signed seal delivered. The first dance was Frank Sinatra's The Way You Look Tonight. Hayden has been a visible presence alongside Albanese for years, including during his 2022 election campaign and his party's strong win earlier this year. The newlyweds will spend their honeymoon in Australia next week, with all expenses covered privately. With that, it's a wrap on the newsroom. Keep watching NewsX World.